Nigerians of voting age in all parts of the country, 82,209,000, the largest ever number of voters in any election in Nigeria, went to the polls on Saturday, the 25th of February 2023, in the Presidential and National Assembly election. On the ballot were potential presidents of Nigeria from 18 political parties, among whom 4 are considered as front-runners, around which the final pendulum of victory will swing. Nigerians are also seeking to choose members of the upper and lower chambers of Nigeria's National Assembly, 109 as senators and 360 as members of Nigeria's House of Representatives. Nigerians deserve a huge pat on the back for demonstrating unprecedented patriotism, enthusiasm, and uncommon resilient attitude by defying all the odds to deliver in a matter that is crucial to the advancement of the future of the country. Nigerians went to the poll in a most trying time in our nationhood, the Naira swap policy hardship and the biting fuel scarcity facing most parts of the country. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, seems to have gotten over the last-minute postponement of the elections of 2011, 2015 and 2019, keeping sacrosanctly to the Saturday 25th February 2023 dates for the commencement of the 2023 election in all parts of the country. The 2023 presidential election has generated a lot of interest and attention among Nigerians, both at home and in the diaspora, and indeed friends of Nigeria from other parts of the world, because of Nigeria's significance to Africa and the world at large. In fact, the 2023 presidential election has attracted the largest number of observers ever, made of 5 past presidents and heads of states of African countries, the European Commission and the Commonwealth of Nations, led by the Secretary General, the Right Honorable Patricia Scotland. The United States of America, the UK and other genuine friends of Nigeria have demonstrated more than a passing interest in the successful outcome of Nigeria's 2023 presidential election. They have all admonished Nigerians to eschew violence, thuggery and other untoward attitudes that might dent the democratic credentials of Nigeria among the civilized world, to make it a very peaceful exercise.
More than ever, the unity and stability of the country depend on you. The world is watching, and Nigerians are hopeful for a peaceful process and expect each vote to count. Democracy is under threat in Africa and across the globe. In 2015, Nigeria set the example for Africa and the world, with a peaceful transition of power from one civilian administration to another. As the largest democracy on the continent, it is our hope that Nigeria will continue to lead by example and send a strong message to the world by further consolidating its democracy through a credible, transparent, and peaceful election.
Because you are Nigeria, in these uncertain times, stability through change and transition is vital for you, for Africa, and for the entire democratic world. Governing a country of such scale, dynamism, and diversity takes enormous courage, skill, and heart. And I applaud all the leaders who take the pledge today. Leadership comes with a solemn responsibility because the office of the president is a sacred trust. It is a promise each of you is making before the people you strive to serve, to put your country above yourself, to unify Nigeria for a new generation of Nigerians who can be proud of their land and thrive in it. It is a heavy burden, but this is your moment to enhance Nigeria's democracy, to show that we can live with love and respect for each other, even when we disagree. This great nation has given Africa, the Commonwealth, and the world so much. And the hour has come again to show who you are, what you care about, and what you strive for. the eyes of more than 210 million proud and hopeful Nigerians, the eyes of 1.3 billion Africans, and the 2.5 billion people in the Commonwealth, all of their eyes are on you. It is a hopeful gaze, a loving gaze, a confident gaze. Tafawa Balewa's dream at the outset of your independence envisioned a land where all our communities live together in peace and harmony.
The security outfits, the police, military and other agencies must remain neutral, keeping strictly to providing security of lives and property before, during and after the elections. After months of anxiety, delayed start of voting exercise, non-functional bimodal voter accreditation system BVAS, pockets of violence and voter suppression, Nigerians still turned out in massive numbers to exercise their franchise. President Muhammadu Buhari, APC presidential candidate Senator Bola Tinubu, APC vice presidential candidate Senator Kashim Shettima, PDP presidential candidate Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, PDP vice presidential candidate Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, Labour Party presidential candidate Mr. Peter Obi, and other stakeholders defined the process as very peaceful after voting.
Yes, I'm very impressed because I've seen how the people turn up. I'm very impressed, I'm very happy. The candidate I voted for, I already mentioned it in so many number of states, in Nasarawa, in Katsina, in Sokoto, all over the place. I mentioned my favorite candidate, and I believe my constituency will choose him 100%. Yes, Nigerians should make sure that they have been respected. That means the candidates they want to vote for, they are allowed to vote for him. It's a pity there is only one woman candidate as a governorship from Adamawa State. So the women should kindly follow our APC presidential candidate, and everybody knows him. It's very exciting. I look at those who are competing, and some of them are so agitated. They didn't know that I tried 3 times. I ended up in Supreme Court 3 times. And then the 4th time I say God day, and God sent technology. With permanent voters card, no fraudulent person can come and claim anything more than 1 vote for himself.
It's been conducted, in my view, very well, very professionally. I think that everything has been done right. And I hope that this is the same all across Ogun State and all across Nigeria. Thank you. Thank you.
My wish for Nigeria is for us to conduct a peaceful election. And for us who are politicians, our conduct matters a lot. And I always tell politicians that, look, yes, you can win election through unorthodox means, just like using violence to win elections or buying votes and so on. But when you do that, you are dealing like an armed robber or a con man. Armed robber makes money through robbery, but everybody knows that it's an armed robber. A con man makes money through deceiving people, but everybody knows that it's a con man. They are not decent members of society. Politicians are supposed to be decent members of society. So we must conduct our affairs very credibly, that both our supporters, our relatives, and so on should know that politics is a clean business, and allow people to vote who they want at any level of election. My plea is we, the politicians, the security people, the INEC operatives, should do the best for the country. The whole world is looking at us. So many senior global citizens are in Nigeria because of these elections. They want us to succeed, and we must not fail.
Thank God I have been able to perform my civic duties. I have come and I have casted my vote. And may we have peace in the country during this election. The procedure I have seen is very comfortable. It is very easy. Once they identify you, they give you voting cards, and then you go, you cast your vote. I think from what I have seen, everything is going on
Actualize the dreams of Nigerians, including yours. And that is what is important to me. And I'm saying categorically, I'm better than the others. I've been exposed. I'm from a private sector background. What is an age? I can demonstrate. I've demonstrated that capacity, ability, and a vision in Lagos State. And I believe I am better than any other candidate running on this election today. I am. And I am confident I will win.
I simply believe, and every patriot in this country believes so, that what unites us surpasses whatever that divides us. What is important for us as a people, irrespective of differences in political affiliations, religious persuasions, tribal or sectional background, is after the election is all and done, we hope we need to unite for the greater good of the nation. The hope for the black man rests with the people of this country. 1 out of every 4 black men is a Nigerian. We can't afford to mess up this nation. This is why I want to call on all our compatriots to go out and exercise their franchise. I just did mine about 30 minutes ago. I'm an eternal optimist, and I'm also a political realist and a strategist. I believe we are going to win this election.
Just cast my ballot, and I thank God. You can see that both voting centers here, we have large crowds out here, and we thank God that the reports we're getting is the election is fairly peaceful and everything is working, everything is on course. We definitely are very certain that the People's Democratic Party will win the elections nationally because we put in a lot of work, and we have put out a document there. Our documents are covenant with Nigerians, and we believe in what we have spoken to Nigerians. We are not deceitful in what we do. We are prepared. A prepared team, a prepared party.
Well, I'm surprised that this is after 2, and I'm only managed to vote at 8 minutes after 2, and the voting have just started because we didn't have materials till about 1 o'clock, at about 12. When the materials came, we didn't have anybody, the whole INEC staff, nobody available. So my worries are, since they say the RACTEX system switches off at a certain time in Abuja, what is the possibility that our people will not be disenfranchised? And this is a heavily populated polling unit. Some people already started getting tired and almost leaving. So I think that it's a very big problem for me. This is the polling unit for the governor of the state, and if I cannot vote till 8 minutes after 2, then it calls for worry. And I've been receiving calls from other polling units showing the same concern that the machine is either not working or is being shut down, or it's a deliberate manipulation to ensure that they lower the votes from Obudu. Whatever is the situation, I believe that this system I find very, very disturbing. That I'm only voting 8 minutes after 2.
I'm very impressed with the turnout. Even though INEC started a bit late in this center, but you can see that the turnout is quite impressive. My concern is that the process should be fastened so that we can clear the crowd before poll close at 2:30. I haven't received that report. It's too early to snatch ballots because voting has not really taken place yet. So we need to reconfirm that story. It doesn't make sense to snatch up a ballot box that doesn't have any ballot papers in them yet. So we'll check that and verify. But I'm confident because we made adequate preparations to ensure that every polling unit has at least 5 security personnel there. So if it's not the police, it's the civil defense.
They will equally extend the time. It took few seconds for me to be identified, and I think if it continues that way, it is one development that has come to stay, and I believe that we should continue with it and move beyond beavers. We have to move beyond beavers. The end of it will be electronic voting and electronic transfer of votes. We are collating the security reports, so to speak, and we'll deal with them accordingly to ensure that everybody is allowed to cast their votes peacefully.
Pointed, we're all told that INEC had expressed confidence that they are ready for the election, that the beavers are working. They can set the crowd here. I don't believe that most people were allowed to vote with the slow walking of the beavers, because I stayed over 25 minutes there, and yet I couldn't vote, and I was told to go and come back. And before that, they would have rectified the beavers. So I'm highly disappointed.
It looks very fair to me, very free. It looks very credible so far as we can see. People have come out and exercised their franchise. This is what democracy is all about. I'm happy, I'm excited that that we're going through this process, and I hope it continues like that till the polls close at about 2-3. How critical is this exercise to you? It's very critical. Every election, every 4 years is pivotal. Every election is critical because it's always a turning point. Are we going to move on, or are we going to go back into reverse? And that's what anywhere in the world people make their decisions. They make their determination on where they want to pitch their tent. So this is a defining moment for us as Nigerians, and we've done we're doing our presidential, senatorial, and the House of Representatives.
Well, it's an upgrade from what we used to have from the card reader. So it has a two-level authentication process. So from just fingerprints before, you now have the facial recognition. So where fingerprints fail, you can have, as we've seen, your face uploaded, preloaded into it, and you can recognize. And so, progress.
Your assessment of security operatives here present?
Well, look, listen, this is my polling station, and there's never been any incident of violence here. And so I think we should focus more on what we see citizens doing instead of raising a red flag on security every time we're having this. This is a festival of freedom. This is a festival of choice. This is democracy. So leave security out of this. Nobody is making trouble here. And this is what you should focus on more. It's a process, people's turnout.
Speaking about the people, sir, how will you describe the turnout?
Decent so far. We'll see at the end of the day how it all plays out. And that people are enthused, and so that's what we must speak to. Getting more people to come out and exercise their franchise.
The 2023 presidential election is projected to be too close to call for many reasons. Voters will be faced with considerations such as ethnicity, religion, generational clamor, mostly propagated by the youth, who constitute a very big chunk of the voting population in the election. Competence, track record and experience, which all four front-runners also have, will come in handy here. It certainly could be anybody's game at the end of the day, because they have all traversed all parts of the country, north, south, east and west, to market their manifestos to Nigerians, who indeed will have the final say with their votes. As earlier projected by political pundits, the outcome of the 2023 presidential election showed a great impact of ethnic, regional and religious inclinations, very sad, primitive fault lines, which we should have banished from our ways of life.
It's very calm, very peaceful. I'm surprised that there is no one on the street aside on the polling booths, but it is all going right.
Okay, in terms of security, how can you express the security situation?
It is very secure. I would say that there is. I mean, I haven't seen a more peaceful Lagos any time, so I think it is very calm.
Are very conscious that the Electoral Act provides a very important legislative basis and framework that instilled a lot of trust in INEC in the run-up to the election from political participants and encouraged many people to take part. However, the publication of figures in relation to permanent voting cards and how they had been distributed across polling units was not made available. The information about the distribution of permanent voting cards across states was made available very late in the process, so that it was very difficult for civil society members of the public here in Nigeria to verify or in any way audit the accuracy of those PVC numbers. And clearly that goes to the transparency of the election, and it is an area which we have noted in our preliminary statement. A high degree of trust and credibility on the type of findings, conclusions and recommendations that we make.
A statement, we of course condemn all kind of violence that have taken place, and we also call on all actors to adhere and respect the rules that are in place, and in any case of any disputes, that all disputes are sorted out through legal procedures. So this is our call on all actors in Nigeria, that all disputes should be sorted out through legal procedures, and we hope that everybody will respect and adhere to that. Thank you.
Security agencies, the police, the military and paramilitary forces were very much on top of their game to see that there was watertight security across the land.
Peaceful. It's been coordinated. People are just happy. No skirmish. Nobody looks like a buyer or someone looking like someone who's been bought. Nobody's been coerced into anything. So, looks organized.
Everybody's in top spirit to vote, and you know the young population, the youths, they constitute the bulk of the population in the 2023 population. What do you call it? You can see that all those who are here, maybe in their 40s, and I'm not too sure have 70s like me. Apart from me and Mrs. Momo, Honorable Minister of Information's wife, who are considered the elders, we have the young people here. It shows that everybody wants to exercise their franchise.
So have you cast your vote?
I did.
So how was the process for you?
Very seamless. In fact, let me be honest with you, I forgot, I still don't know where I put my, what do you call that thing now? My PVC. But thank God for technology. Some of the younger ones, I always say that I'm almost like an illiterate when it comes to things like this. Somebody helped me, and I got it done. And I voted the man that I thought would help us out.
Yes, I did. It was free and fair, no violence. So everyone cooperates, so we don't really have any issue in my own polling unit.
I did. I casted it on Saturday. I was there twice. The people came late, but later eventually they came around 12. And then immediately they started the process. So I was able to cast my vote around 3:30 p.m.
I'll be very, very honest. The party that came out to, or the people that came out to vote, voted well. Yeah, they all voted well. I was unsure about other polling units, but my polling unit, we all came out well and we represented our candidates well. Well, in my polling unit, almost everybody were together. Probably just different, different parties and different opinion and different views to what we thought was necessary and was good for the nation. But there was no violence. There was no violence. Yeah.
Be able to cast my vote. My polling unit is ward number 52 at Bola.
So what was your experience?
The experience, what I see there is that although there was not much turn up on that area, and the only thing that we saw, there was some area, there was some crisis, which is if you cannot vote for so person don't be on the line. Which is, it nearly caused so many riots before police people came out and involved, before the whole people line up and continue voting line by line.
The exercise was very good in the area. We had two polling booths on the street. Actually, we had the chairman of Shomolu there on that street. So the organization was okay on that street and on the other end. Though at the point there was a little friction, but I think the chairman was able to take up and quell it down because there was going to be some little tension. But I think on the whole, it was fair and good.
Yes, of course. Got my phone. At Ikorodu West. So it was nice. Everything went successfully, and there was no fight, no chaos, nothing. So in fact, it was a very easy thing to do. So we thank God that everything went successfully as well.
As we end our special report on Nigeria's 2023 Presidential and National Assembly election and look forward to the governorship and state houses of assembly elections slated for 11th of March 2023, exactly 2 weeks from now, we appeal to INEC to make the processes of accreditation of journalists and observers very seamless with less hassles as was witnessed this time around. We hope too that the arrest made by the police of a House of Reps member with about $500,000 and the man caught in Lagos State with over 34 million naira in new notes, ostensibly meant for vote buying, will serve as a strong signal by the security agencies to both voters, INEC officials and even security personnel themselves that all eyes are on them and anyone who runs foul of the law will be arrested, prosecuted and jailed. Whereas vote buying, which was becoming endemic in our political culture, has been tamed to some extent, going by the experience in this election, it was sad to see that the very primitive act of ballot snatching and thuggery still played a most ignoble role in the election. One issue that was of worrying concern to voters and observers was the lateness in the uploading of election results through the INEC Result Viewing Portal, unlike the experience during the off-season elections when the results were uploaded real-time. The problem this time, INEC said, is due to technical hitches, which should be properly looked into as collation of results continue to make the outcome credible and transparent.
As soon as any of the scopes arrives, the process of collation will begin. Once the process begins, the collation center will be open all day and all night, subject only to short breaks as may be announced by the returning officer. The official results will be shown on several screens here at the collation center. There are a number of screens to my left and right. There is also a giant screen behind me on which we will be projecting the results that the scopes are presenting for collation. I appeal to all political parties and media organizations to draw their figures only from the official results released by the Commission as the only body constitutionally responsible for releasing official election figures.
As the nation awaits the official announcement of INEC of Nigeria's 7th democratically elected civilian president, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, must get down to work to correct all the lapses witnessed in the election as we prepare for the next election on the 11th of March 2023 to elect state governors for 29 states of the country and members of the states' houses of assembly.